One.
All right. On my first video in years was yesterday, November 1st. This is my second. I was content to have I'm shooting to get better, because if you ain't done nothing, you probably are not going to start off at A+. If I can do a B-, I'm fine. So I'm back again. I wanted to try and get something out before the election. I may not get, I don't know how many I can get out. I'm low tech, but I want to get started on doing videos, podcasts, and I've made a start. So my name is John Knight. I'm a real American. Real Americans excite me. The way they think excites me. The way they do excites me. And I've kind of got, I've said it in my first podcast, I have people here legally divided into two groups: real Americans and legal aliens. And this is my opinion, that real Americans are primarily going to vote for Trump. They think like he thinks. We think like he thinks. Legal aliens, not many of them going to vote for Trump. They just think a different way. They're going to vote for, I've been saying that name wrong. If her name is not Camillo, I apologize to all you Camillos. Is it Kamala? Whatever it is, I'm not real interested in getting her name right. But anyway, here, let's keep rolling. I got to quit rambling and get to the point. So I'm going to try and give a brief explanation of the fallacy of thinking your vote don't count, especially if you're Christians. Now, there's millions of Christians that don't vote. Well, that's a fallacy. They say their vote don't count. They're thinking because they're one among millions, it don't matter. That's not how we're set up. The way I'm looking at it, and I'm going to study it through. I told you on my first video that it's the glory of God to conceal a matter and the glory of kings to search it out. I'm going to search out some really important matters. And one of them is our voting. And millions of Christians are missing it big time, thinking their vote don't count. So theoretically, we're supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the best case scenario, every person here legally should register, vote, and everybody should vote that's registered. That way it would be the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But 30 million Americans don't vote. It's not a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people who vote. And if you've got Christian values and you're not voting, you're missing something important. Since Roe versus Wade came on the scene, there's been 60 million babies killed. I said yesterday, my Bible reads, Mary was with child. That means there was Mary, there was a child. Now, there's different forms of birth control that are okay, but murder is not one of them. That's a child. My Bible says Mary was with child. I cannot think any other way. But the Democrats don't think that way. I said it yesterday. They think it's just some meat in there you can throw out if you don't want to take care of it. It's not that way. That's a child. But if Christians don't vote, that voice is not heard, and 60 million American children have been killed before they were born. Well, I say you can't really blame that totally on the Democrats. They're the ones that push it. They're the ones that don't see anything wrong with it. But because Christians don't vote, I'll show you why that matters. I've drawn up a football thing here. And this is how a football, so let's see, this is the Republicans and this is the Democrats drawn like football players. They line up with the center in the middle, a guard, a tackle, and an end. Now, this man's job here, this man is supposed to get in here and take the quarterback down. his job is just to stop one man. And if any Christian who votes, if they just stop one vote of the other side, they're doing their job. They don't have to do something great and fantastic. Stopping one man is their job. These guys make tons of money stopping one person. That's their main job. But watch. If this guy here thinks his job is not important, and I knocked that off the board. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. If he thinks his job of blocking this one is not important, this one, his vote don't count. And what they say is so true. They say my vote don't count. Well, it don't count when they don't vote, but this man's vote does. There's one reason the baby killing going on all these years. There's so many people saying the vote don't count, and so many people who don't think it matters killing a baby before it's born. Their vote counts. They come in here, sack the quarterback. That is my attempt at showing the fallacy of not voting. I'm trying to keep track on what I'm saying and don't run over. I'd like to not drag things out. I'm going to do a little history of our country. Our Constitution, the way I interpret our Constitution is it says this: level the playing field and play ball. Level the playing field and play ball. That's what our Constitution is set up to do, to give everybody a shot at having a great life. Level the playing field and play ball. But when we started our country, we didn't really build it according to that blueprint. We couldn't build it according to that blueprint because slavery was in place. Slavery, it was a situation that people were born into and never thought that much about it. It was there. It was a way of life in the South. People don't think much about what they're born into. We're born into our language. My language don't sound strange to me. It sounds like the only language in the world, but I can't understand a person from Japan or Mexico. They were born into a different language. Hamas is born into a situation that hates Jews. Everybody don't hate Jews, but they were born into it and don't think about it. But we had an institution here where all men weren't equal because the slaves weren't equal to the people that owned them. So we had some problems with the building we built. It was as close as we could get with that institution in place, but it wasn't what it needed to be. We've been working on it ever since, trying to get it like our blueprint says. Now, the first people to really catch on were professional sports teams. A baseball professional sports team looked over there and saw Jackie Robinson. He could really play ball. And they decided they'd hire him. And they hired him for one reason, not to end discrimination. They hired him to field a winning team. That was their sole purpose. Our job as Americans is to field a winning team. Football players began to incorporate not just whites, anybody could play ball. And now, people don't think about that. They're trying to field a winning team. They go for a winning player, there's no color that's winning. It's what the players can do. I make a joke. It may not be a good joke, but if a person is polka dot and he can really excel, put him on the team. We got to get over this color thing. And we're getting there. We've made a lot of progress. I think as Americans, we're going to have to do like professional football players, teams, and professional baseball teams. Get over this color thing. We got to field a winning team. We got to get over it. And I am so encouraged and excited to turn on my computer and see the Afro-Americans that have, oh my goodness, the wisdom they have, the insight they have, they've got this thing figured out, and they're leaving the Democratic Party in droves. It's exciting to me to see it. Exciting. They're seeing what they're looking at it like real Americans. I mean, they're on my same wavelength. And it's exciting to me. And I am excited about the possibility of a country that wants to field a winning team, and Donald Trump can be a coach. He knows how to field a winning team no matter what people say about him. He knows how to field a winning team. And if we can put him up there as our coach, we'll be way down the road. But Kamala don't know nothing about no coaching. We don't need her up there. I said it yesterday. Can you imagine her talking to Putin? Anyway, let's leave that for a little while. I'm just saying I'm really grateful for the wisdom that I'm seeing on the YouTube as I look at the YouTube of the different Afro-Americans that's really looking at it. I don't know, the same way I'm looking at it. Okay, I've said that. Now, Camilo has, Lord, my clock ain't working. Camilo has accused Donald Trump of being a Hitler. All right? She is exactly like Hitler. And I can explain to you how she is exactly like Hitler. Hitler overlooked some really significant things, and so has she. The biggest thing he overlooked was, here's the truth of the matter, there is a God in heaven, and Hitler didn't know it. And I don't think Camilla knows it. Her response to the man in the crowd that yelled Jesus is Lord was, you're in the wrong rally. And the crowd clapped and cheered. I don't think she knows Jesus very well. I don't think she knows God very well. Hitler didn't. I'm saying that's a characteristic they both share. Hitler didn't understand the character of America. What showed up to save America was the youth of America. Young guys, 15 years old, would go down to the army place and say, I'm 18, and sign up to go over there in despicable conditions to save our country. It was the youth, the young, that saved us in that day. And I don't know exactly where it came from, but for a long time, I've had this phrase in my mind, now as then, it falls on the shoulders of the young again. I don't know where that came from, but I've seen some really exciting characteristics of the youth. And I'm thinking they're going to vote heavily for Trump. Another thing Hitler did not understand. Hitler thought there was a race that was superior to all others. And he said it. And in 1936, the Olympics was in Germany. Well, there was a man named Jesse Owens that happened to be descended from a black sharecropper. And Hitler was proclaiming there was a superior race. And in that Olympics, Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals. 4 gold medals. Hitler's idea just got kind of covered up from the dust that shall we say, those black feet was kicking up dust, and everybody else just had to sit back and do the best they could. Hitler didn't see that coming because he didn't understand certain things. He thought there was a superior race. I think that all of that dust that was kicked up by those feet kind of made his argument look rather, I don't know. It just didn't work. He was wrong. He was wrong. And I don't think that Kamala understands the dust that's going to be raised in this election. How can I say it? By my feet, the same color as Jesse Owens. My goodness. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed and grateful. Because I think that the Afro-American vote is going to be a big factor. I'm believing that we're going to get 4 more years to fix what's broken about this country, with Donald Trump at the top, as the coach, and us down here, Jesus on the throne, Donald Trump as our coach, and us down here as playing hard and playing to win, as a winning team, thinking like Americans, thinking like real Americans. Now, I think, I'm checking my time. How's my time? Okay, I'm fixing to close it out. I can summarize how Kamala was making the same mistakes Hitler made. I can summarize it in two statements, and then I'm done for the day. Hitler did not know there's a God in heaven and a real America in the US of A.